We are recording. We are live. Welcome, everybody. It's time to get serious. Those of you who came in a little early know that Mike and I like having a little banter just to get all ready to go and test out the systems. And technically, I think we are golden. Mike, welcome back.
Hey, great to be back. And just a little side note here. Stuart's sitting in Memphis or Germantown, Tennessee, and I'm sitting in Delray Beach, Florida. And it's incredible to me how technology like this, we can communicate over the whole country and up in Canada. And just so you know, folks, you, travel agents, travel professionals, you can do things like this to communicate with your audience as well. So just kind of tune in. This is not magic that's going on here, but it is available to communicate. You could interview a recent traveler or whatever and talk about a destination. But anyway, it's really cool. It blows me away. Nice to be here, Stuart.
Yep, nice to be back here. So everybody, let's bring you up to speed right now. Yesterday we did sort of the official launch. We had already issued a series of short emails describing what we were planning, what we were cooking up, based on the feedback, which was overwhelmingly positive. We launched. So yesterday was the official launch date. Today is really more Q&A. However, I have a question for all of you right now. If you were here yesterday, if you saw the full presentation yesterday, and about 30 minutes of yesterday was the slides, okay, was the actual launch, giving you the meat of the program, everything you need to know. And the back half, the back 30 minutes was Q&A. So I just need to know if you were here, just say yes. Just type in yes. We'll go take a look.
Type in the chat or the question box, yes, so we know not to repeat ourselves to everybody, because if there's some new folks on, we're going to have to fill in the blanks, but we want to know how many people are returning.
And Mike and I decided that what we're going to do today, because there's also people here who were not here yesterday or who did not have time yet to watch the full presentation. So here's what we're going to do, friends. Let's just set the stage. We're going to start off right now, immediately with Q&A. We're going to do open Q&A for, I would say, 5-10 minutes, as long as it takes to answer the immediate questions that come in. If no questions come in, or when we're done in about 5 or 10 minutes, so stick around, then Mike and I are going to do a run through, right, Mike? We're going to do a run through of the presentation, but we're going to go through it faster. We're just going to go through it faster. So if you were yesterday, you're going to get a review, and maybe it'll spark a question or a comment you have. And if you weren't here, you get to see it at a high speed. One thing I want to add is that we did start receiving completed questionnaires. So
immediately, almost immediately, yeah.
If you're here and you did a questionnaire, which is, it's the application, but we don't want to call it an application. It's a questionnaire to make sure you're a good fit, we're a good fit, and just to be sure that this event, because Mastermind, the mix is so important. I know, Mike, you'll talk about that when we do the slides again, but the feedback and reading the questionnaires come in very stimulating, very exciting, because if you're taking the time to do that, you're serious, and we are too.
Yep.
So we're in the right place at the right time. All right, I'm going to go right to. Go ahead,
Stuart. I want to just pave the way that ask any question, all your questions. There's no such thing as a foolish question. This is what today's program was all about. I will say this: we launched yesterday, and we were delighted about a couple of things. Number one, how many people filled out the questionnaire immediately. Right. And I will share this. There's only 20 spots for this meeting, on the initial meeting, unless we roll over to a second program. There's 20 spots. And one fellow, Stuart, I think, I don't know if I told you, he called me at 7:30 last night. He called me on the phone, and he said, Mike, I wasn't going to call you at 7:30, but I just had to. And I want to pay the whole thing, not a deposit. I want to pay the whole thing in before the end of the year for tax reasons. So, when somebody is throwing a check at you, you don't say, I don't think so. You got to give me a $2 deposit, and then we'll bill you in 6 months. But I said, send away. But another fella I talked to this morning, he said, where do I send the deposit in? And he said to us, I'm not looking at it so much as a 3-day retreat in Jamaica, but to join a club like this with you guys for a year for that fee is a no-brainer, he said. So there's different reasons why people are entertaining the idea of joining this group, and we'll go through it today for you. So let's go to the questions now.
And I do like club. That's interesting. It is. It's like a mastermind club. First I'm hearing of that. Okay, Nancy was here. Celise was here. The other Nancy. We have two Nancy. Sharon, Patricia, Michelle, Sam's here. I watched the recording. Didn't attend it live. Danny listened this morning. Michelle, just one more question left before sending mine. Okay, so she's going to send a question in. So Nancy, we're going to get this is a good question. What will the deposit and final payment dates be? I don't think we finalized that, but we'll come back to that in just a second. That's going to be our leadoff question. Marina said that hi Stuart, Mike had a client event. Listen to the replay. Okay, so it looks like. Okay, I already see we got a couple of questions in, so let's dive in.
Perfect.
And again, we don't know what's coming at us. So the first question was from Nancy, what will deposit and final payment dates be? I'm going to tell you that I think for the deposit, so when we notify those who have been, who sort of fit this group, who complete the questionnaire, which will be by next Thursday, I would like to see the deposit come in, which will be, what do you think, Mike? Did we finalize that? What the number is? Want to do a couple $100?
Yeah, I would say, we don't want to hurt anybody, but we do want a commitment. We want a commitment. I would say 20%.
Okay. So
is that fair?
Yeah, that's what we talked about. We weren't sure if it could be 10%, 20%, because we also understand the holidays around the corner. Everyone's going to be a little light this month. So we want to make it fair. We'll confirm that.
But I also will say this, Stuart, that is refundable. We're not stealing any money from anybody. We want a commitment, so it's refundable. And we don't even care what your reasoning is. That's not our job. That's not our business. But we want the real deals to deposit and to show up and to benefit. I'm going to say $300 because that's a number. And
we'd like to have the deposit. If you could do it within 7 to 10 days, that would be very helpful. Actually, hopefully it won't be a problem to do it within a week. We'll send you a link. And because here's the deal, friends. If you fill out the questionnaire, if we call you and say you're in, and we hear excitement as we are, then there shouldn't be any issues because everybody knows what the money situation is. And then final payment, we haven't worked on that yet. So we're going to have to get back to you on when the final payment is due. We want to make it, obviously get through the holidays, but with enough time so that the money, we have the money in so we can pay for the expenses and everybody's done and secure. So that's information to come. That's a very good question, and we just weren't prepared to reveal the final decisions.
And the final, I think it's safe to say the final would not be due before February 1. It wouldn't be due in January. It'd be due sometime after January 30th. I think that's fair to say.
Nancy said a question. If we can't make this one, how often will you be doing this? Annually or more?
Well, if the answer to that, Stuart, is if enough people come, we'll be doing this every 4 days for the next 10 years.
Yeah. It's hard to say, Nancy. This is something we've talked about for years, and we finally said, let's do it. If it works, maybe we'll do it annually. If there's a big enough calling, we'll do it multiple times a year. But understand, I think based on feedback we've gotten, we'll have mastermind retreats for a potentially different audience, potentially for frontline salespeople who are not the owners, for instance. Okay, for people who are either in the hosting business or want to get in. I mean, there are so many different areas that we could target in terms of a niche. Remember, we believe in the niche. We don't want, this event is not, it's not a generalist event. This is for owners or active managers, all right, and front row people, which we'll get into in a second. So that was sort of a direct but an indirect answer, Nancy, because we don't know. We'll see how it goes. Michelle said, exactly, she's just commenting, to join this group for a year is so valuable to me. So she's singing the praises of the program, our friend Michelle. Thank you so much. Mimi said, no question of the value of this opportunity, just inquiring, most of us who are not planning an expense of this magnitude, deposit of 50% would be fair. So Mimi's just saying that, yes, this came sort of last minute to a lot of people, and we'll try to make the deposit. I think we're talking 30%. Fair. Nancy said it doesn't compare. So Nancy, I guess you know what both do. So they're both different training events. So that's good. Kisa said thank you. She's going to follow up. Let me see here. I'm going to read this out loud here. Michelle, for the opposite reason of the person who wants to pay full, to pay you in full for a prior year and for tax purposes, I'm glad for the opportunity to pay a small amount prior to end of year because I did 2 very expensive research trips during 2019 and need to put my expenses to 2020. Okay, perfect. So she's just validating how she's going to spread the costs out. And look, we'll work with you. If you want to pay it all now, fine. If you want to work out a monthly thing, let us know. We don't want anything to stand in the way. If you want to be here, we don't want any obstacles. Let's see. Nancy said, Gifts Book More Travel Workshop is not a mastermind. They're workshops and sales pitches. So that's sort of a high level recap of that. Sharon said, will there be an operational process taught or more motivational mindset coaching type workshops? So I'm going to read it again. Mike, you take this. Sharon asks, will there be operational processes taught? I think we addressed this yesterday, or more motivational mindset coaching type workshops?
No, and I think the answer is more process, more roll up your sleeves, more get dirty.
Yeah.
We're both smart enough to know that the mindset, the attitude is very important, but we're not going to blow up balloons with helium for 3 days and have you walk across hot coals. I mean, that's, feeding your family is what it's all about. You've got to have the right mindset, but no, it's not going to be a motivational rah-rah, laugh and play for 3 days. This is going to be roll up your sleeves, commiserate with your fellow peers, and really get down and with solutions to real problems that you bring because you're the ones out in the trenches every day.
Yeah, very well put. Let me just add to that. We mentioned yesterday that this, by definition, a mastermind is a cohesive group that get together with similar interests, common goals, with different levels of experience, so everyone helps each other out. We will be doing training. It's a morph. It's a morph between a mastermind and a retreat or a think tank. So Mike and I will be active every step of the way. We will be doing some stand up in front of the room training, and we will also be working together on a very clever agenda to make sure we customize it. We talk about things you want to talk about, help each other out, and you're going to leave that room. You're going to leave Jamaica saying, holy cow, I had never thought of doing things this way. And one more thing, then we're going to move on, about processes. That's about efficiency. When you use the word process, friends, I'm thinking efficient. How do I get more done in less time? How do I grow my business without collapsing? How do I not lose sleep at night, knowing that I can take that group, I can make that sale, I can hire another independent contractor, I can do more and not just destroy my health? That's what we're going to help you with. So that's when I say process, we're going to talk a lot about that too. Sam said, hey Sam, I anticipate retiring in 5 to 6 years. Would I be a candidate for more? I do want to go out with a bang instead of a whimper. I wasn't sure if you were targeting people who plan to be in business much longer.
Let me address that, Stuart, because
at
3:30 this morning, I read Sam's questionnaire. Mm-hmm. And just so you know, I read it, Sam. I know you referenced an author who wrote books, who's no longer with us, who the plan was never to finish her last book, which began with the letter Z. So now you know that I really read your questionnaire. And after reading it, I was more convinced than ever that at this moment in time, Sam, yes, you would fit in very, very nicely with your credentials, with your experience, with your professionalism. Yes, we would. You're the, how can I say this without, yes,
quintessential.
You're very much in the mix. Yes, very much in the mix. I was very impressed with your questionnaire.
And I can say that too, because some of you, we know, Sam, you've been in my boot camp since the beginning, and I know your style. I know you're savvy. I want you in that room. I want you in that room because I know you're not a backseat person, you're not a spectator. And the way you communicate, we need communicators, ambitious communicators. So for you to come to this event and share what's worked, what hasn't worked, with some of the others who may not have had your experiences, I think that would be a gift. Oh, play on words.
And you know, Stuart, before you go on, another point. One of the one of the strengths I have, I think, is that I am asked to speak to non-industry companies. Okay, I've spoken to phone companies and Cisco Foods and car companies, and what happens is you realize that everybody has the same problems, concerns, issues, and by bringing solutions in from other industries, sometimes is a great benefit. So we're not all talking airplanes and hotels. We're talking business, we're talking prospects, we're talking customers, we're talking business procedures. So these can come in from other industries. So don't get tunnel vision of saying the world revolves just around our travel industry, because what I found out over the last 30 years is that you're all singing the same song. Every salesperson out there is singing the exact same song.
You had mentioned the word motivate. Will this be one big motivational thing? I'd like to say it will be too, because Mike and I can't do anything boring. We can't do anything dull because we get bored. So even though we may be talking about some hardcore information about processes and strategies, and it's going to be delivered with enthusiasm and ambition. We're stand-up guys, and we get paid, if I might be so bold and say this, you're getting two guys who get paid an average of $7,500 to $10,000 an event. I mean, that's our price. If you call us to want to hire us, there's your price points. So you can, yeah, we're taking this very seriously. And the reason why we can get that price tag and we get hired time and time again is because we deliver information and motivation. Whew, that was good. Kyle said, I did not get the replay from yesterday. GoToWebinar sends it out automatically. But Kyle, if you didn't get it, I'm going to give you the website address. We've uploaded all the presentations we've made. It's on YouTube. Click and play. Piece of cake. We'll give you that URL in just a second. I'm glad you're here, Kyle. Okay, we get some more comments, which I'll read offline on the different programs that are out there. Sharon said, for groups, for example, will we talk about how to price out the group, closing the sale, getting the right package amount? Oh, Sharon, we've got to come up with a plan how deep we're going to dive into groups, how deep we're going to dive into each area. We want to take deep dives in as many areas as possible, but we can't dive deeply into every area. What we will do, and we mentioned this yesterday, is once we get a composite picture of who's coming, then we're going to tune up the agenda. If enough of you want to take a really deep dive into a specific area, as you're suggesting with groups, we're going to do it. And the opportunity also, because you got Mike and you got Stu, we can do breakouts. So if you're on this call right now and you're like, I don't want to do groups, or I've already mastered groups, I don't need to hear it, you're going to go with Mike, because Mike's going to talk about something else that's going to excite you, interest you. So that's, just so you know, we're going to be doing that as part of the agenda too.
But the value there of having 3 full days is that with 20 people, there's going to be 4, 5, 7, 8 people that are really singing from the same song sheet, that have the same experiences that you have. So if I were hypothetical, if I was talking about pricing a group, I would ask the 20 people who does groups and who prices groups, and can I have lunch with you to find out how you do it? So it's not so much teaching from us as knowing how the real world agents next to you are running their business. And then you can either select or discard what they're sharing with you.
Yeah.
But with 20 of the right people, there's going to be so much information and experiences that can be shared, not only during our programs, during lunch, during a cocktail hour, at the pool at 10 o'clock at night. I mean, we're going to be on an island. We're going to be trapped in a sense, and it's going to be 3, 5 days, 4 nights of interaction, of learning and listening to each other. Does that make sense, Stuart?
It does. It does. Very well put. That's the beauty of a mastermind. That's why we love the word mastermind, because that means it's very much engaging, meaning everybody who attends, everyone who's got a seat plays a pivotal, critical role. I'll say it again. If you've got a seat, you're playing a role. You're not just sitting there note taking. You're giving and receiving. So absolutely. Michelle says, I kind of love that the two of you have been talking about doing this for years and finally made the decision to make this happen. And that's what I am trying to do in 2020. I had set a goal in 2012 to do river cruise groups. It's 7 years later, but I'm truly determined to make this goal really a dream come true of mine. We have something in common coming to pass next year. It's all about bringing it from here to reality. Beautiful, wonderful set.
And what's keeping most people back in this business, in any business, in life, is the word, the thought, what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't work? Well, we're going to try it. You're going to try it. We don't know if it's going to work. We're going to try it. We did Travel Agent Success Series with 5 of us in Tallahassee a couple of years ago. 5 guys got together, made a program. We didn't know. We tried it. And that's the beauty of entrepreneurial thinking and marketing thinking, is because there's no guarantees. We're fun people, and we're going to roll the dice. And in this mastermind group, you're not rolling it alone. You're rolling it with 20 smart people backing you, making sure that what you do is going to be as effective as it possibly can.
Yeah. Well said. Kyle said, so is it more of a how to than a what to? And the answer is yes. Now that we've expanded it from 2 full days together to 3 full days together, and you're going to see, and when we show you the slides, that it doesn't end there. So if you've already seen yesterday's, you know that it doesn't begin and end on March 28th, that we're throwing in a monthly mastermind virtual meeting, an online meeting, a whole year. So we're going to hold you accountable. So we're going to tell you how to do it. And if you didn't do it, can't do it, failed, succeeded, we want to know, and we want to hold up the fire under your, to get it done. There you go. So
one of the reasons why Weight Watchers, and not that I'm a member at the moment, but Weight Watchers works for a couple of reasons. But one of the reasons is because of the peer pressure that people are watching you get on the scale. And if you're serious about growing your business, we're not going to criticize you, but we're going to watch you every month get on the scale to see if you're moving in the right direction. And if you're not moving in the right direction, we're going to call that to your attention. So you're going to have kind of a center fielder or a wingman. Stuart and I are going to be your wingmen to make sure that what you've committed to, what makes sense to you, what you can afford, is going to happen over the next 12 months. I think that's the whole beauty of this thing.
Yep. Michelle says, I can't wait to meet Sam. Cool. Sam said, good to know. Thank you. Very kind words, both of you. Very exciting. Michelle said, I agree that solutions from outside the box is such a viable way to go. Michelle is motivated just thinking about it. Jess said, wish I could be there, but my 50th anniversary takes precedence.
I know that. Yes, you told me before, and if I were you, you're picking the right thing in this case.
Yep. Michelle added, and stick around, everybody, because we're going to do that quick run through the presentation slide by slide in about 2 or 3 minutes. Okay. I think we're finishing up on these early questions. Michelle said, oh my gosh, Mike, you have read my mind. What if it doesn't work? Fear of failure. It can be debilitating, but I spent a lot of money this summer to do the research trip needed to give me the confidence to pull off my River Cruise group goal. And this mastermind idea will just contribute to what I hope will be my eventual success. Thank you. You are welcome on behalf of Mike. Let's see. And Viox says, this is the last question, and then we're going to go to the slides. So just so everybody knows to stick around. I'm glad you're here. I know it's a Friday, and it's the weekend is approaching of shopping. I don't know how many. So Vera asks, I don't know how many Canadians attend this webinar. Is this mastermind retreat easily applicable to all markets? I would say yes. Now, this is Vera asking. So my quick response is absolutely. We're not talking tax codes and legalities of operating, because I know, Vera, in Canada, there are different rules, regulations, laws, and practices. We're talking business. This is business stuff. I don't know, Mike, if you have anything to add on that.
No, and I think that the international flavoring, if you will, if there is any um, personality that the Americans versus the Canadians, I think the interaction is going to be nothing but stimulating.
Yeah.
On both ways. That we do it this way, we do it that way. I never thought of this, I never thought of that. No, I think it's open to everybody.
Yep, I agree. And Vera, one thing, if you don't, friends, if you're on this line and you don't know one of us or don't know both of us, we're nothing but straight up and honest, because we've both had a reputation in this business for many, many, many years, and we're not about to mess it up now. So we're going to be nothing but honest. If we don't think it'll work for you, I'll send you a check back. It's really that simple. Or we just won't take your check. So it's about an open relationship between you and us. Mike, we'll dive in. Ready?
Well said. Yes, let's go. Let's dive in. Well said, Stuart.
So this presentation we did in a half hour yesterday. I think we're going to see if we can bang it out in 15 minutes today. So it'll bring us to a quarter of, and then 15 minutes at the end for Q&A. So stick around, everybody. Here we go. We're going to hightail it. Here's the context of what we're going to talk about: who, what, where, when, why, what's included, how much, next steps, and Q&A. And Friday's webinar is today.
That's today. Yeah.
Look at that. So I'll take this one right off the bat, just so you know. This is not sponsored by suppliers. You're not going to have boring, dull, repetitive supplier presentations. I love them. We love them dearly. Some of them give much better live presentations. Some don't. You're not going to have to travel to Jamaica to hear what you can hear back in your office. It's produced by me and Mike, and we do have a host resort, which, as you all know, Moon Palace, Jamaica. So that's important to know. They're not a sponsor, but that's where it's happening. They're the host. And it's produced for owner, operator, and top management. So let me just say this, that if you're an owner, you want to bring your manager, then we'll talk about how you can have the two in the room, because right now it's priced out. You get your own private room. And if you're not an owner, but you're a top manager, just fill out that questionnaire. Understand, if you don't get picked for this, friends, it's not because we don't love you personally. It's a business thing. You'd end up being uncomfortable there, and the other part of the club, that particular group, we need that synergy. Yep.
Perfect.
So I want you to take this too. I'm just going to put the 3 bullet points up. It's a morph between a mastermind and a retreat. So I don't know, Mike, if you wanted to, because you really described the definition of a mastermind wonderfully.
Well, the mastermind is the synergistic approach of 1 and 1 equals more than 2. It equals 3. The sum is greater than the 2 units. So when we get 20 people in a room, the power, the energy is just exorbitant. And once we feel welcome, and once we feel open with our comments and our phrases and our experiences, then we start sharing, and it just becomes a powerful, powerful event where you don't question people. You just take it all in. You take what you want, you reject what you want, but you take it all in, and it's the synergistic approach. The retreat side, I think, is just as important, because you know, and I know, when you get back from a conference, you're all fired up. You have all this new ideas, and that takes about 4 minutes once you walk into your office to get back into your old routine again. And it's very important for us to get away from our office, away from the daily chore, the phones ringing, the texts, the emails, to get away, to focus, to re-energize, to recharge, to go back to an area where we can say, okay, here's what I want to accomplish in the next 12 months, and here's how I'm going to do it. Time to think about your future, because that's what we don't have today. We don't have enough time to think. And you're going to create this time by joining us in Jamaica, 3 full days, chatting, thinking, writing, rehearsing, practicing, and it's all going to be there for you on this mastermind retreat.
Yeah. And before we go to this, thank you, Mike. I want to give you 2 words, friends: generosity and graciousness. Grace. Generous and graceful. I should say gracious. We need you to be generous, because if everyone in the group is generous, wow, as Mike said, the sharing is grows exponentially, the learning and the motivation. And gracious meaning if you disagree, if you've got a different opinion, different experience, it's done out of kindness. Thank you for sharing that. That didn't work for me. Here's how I do it. Great. We're still friends, kind of a thing.
Hey, Stuart, I want to share this. I read something the other day about a president of a big company, big, successful billion-dollar company. He held it's a rock or a coin that he held in his pocket. And it was to remind him when he spoke with people, that coin or that little piece of paper, whatever he had in his pocket, it said on it, what if they're right? In other words, I'm not going to prove my point. What if what they say is correct? What if their idea is better than mine? And this big shot reminded himself to say, hey, I don't have all the answers. Maybe the person I'm talking to is right. And I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, it is. No matter how many years you've been in business, no matter how many successes and failures you have, no matter how maybe you're uber successful, there's always something new to learn. Always. And we get so sometimes in a rut. We just drive in a straight line. We forget, oh, wait a minute. We need to go back and spend more time with those clients because, how come they book with somebody else, not with me? That's a serious problem. I see we've got some more questions coming in. Hang on, everybody. Marty, you've got a good question. Let's stay focused on the agenda. We're going to buzz through this, friends, and then I promise you we're going to get to your questions because, Marty, you've got a great one. So we picked Moon Palace, Jamaica for a number of reasons. Chief among them is because it's a very reliable, trusted company, resort. We've been there. That's a picture of the two of us because we were both keynoters at the 4th Annual Global Conference for Palace. And it's all inclusive and it's beautiful. It's like a small, big resort. It's got everything we need, multiple restaurants. So when we take a break for lunch or when we meet for cocktails after, everything is right there. It's easy and beautiful people. I love the Jamaicans.
I love the Jamaicans.
Palace. Yeah, the Moon Palace is just a darling resort. And I've been there with my own family reunion, and I was also hired to do influencer videos there. That's me and my son drinking some coconuts right on the beach. So we're very familiar with the property, and we know it's going to deliver. So we have two different dates. You're wondering, why is it March 24 and March 24, 28? You're going to arrive on the 19th. And you're going to leave on the 24th, or I'm sorry, you're going to arrive on the 20th. Yeah, right. The whole idea is that if we have enough people to fill two groups, it doesn't mean one is more bigger or better. It has nothing to do with that. It's about if we get enough people, we're gonna make a good mix of people. And the 24th is transition day. So when the first group leaves, the second group arrives. It makes good, efficient use of our time. And know this.
We did that because we figured we were going to be down there, and if we don't want, this is not a numbers game. We don't want 50 people. We don't want 100 people. We just want 20. And we said, well, what if there's more than 20? Well, we better have a rollover event if there's more than 20. So that was to safeguard ourselves there. So it's going to be the exact same program, but different because there's different people, and different because you are going to bring a different agenda and different challenges into the fray. But pretty much it's a duplicate.
Yep. It was by your feedback, friends, your early feedback, that because it was originally going to be a 2-day event, 2 full days of business meetings. You said that's not enough time. We're going to make the schlep. Can you make it 3? That would be more enticing. The answer is yes. And that didn't pump believe it or not, we were able to keep the pricing the same. So that's why it's 5 days, 4 nights, 3 full days of meetings. You're in the travel business.
We're not going to rush. 3 full days will be enough time to get it all done without rushing.
Yep. And in terms of goals, we need to know what your goals are, and so that we can custom tailor the agenda. Mike, I don't know if you want to touch on this. It's about, Michelle, you summed it up so wonderfully as you were referring to what Mike and I have been saying. It's been on our whiteboard for years, and we finally said, let's do it. When I launched Group Sales Success Summit, I was like, I've never done this before, but I've always wanted to do an online launch. I'm going to do it. When Mike launched his Inner Circle, he had this idea. I can help more agents, and I can help feed the family. I mean, this is why we do it too, to help people and to get then afterwards get what we need. Mike?
The old marketing saw is, find out what people want and then give it to them. You know, that's how you sell more product. Find out what the demand is and then supply the demand. So the goals are going to be different. And one of the things that we're going to do with the small group is we're going to find out what your individual target is, what you want to accomplish. So what your home run is. So when you leave on day 3 or day 4, that you will have accomplished your mission. And that's your personal goal. So that'll unfold. That'll be fluid. That'll be liquid.
Yep. Yep. But going in, we want to know what your goals are.
Yeah, so we can deliver. Yeah, so we can. Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. More questions are coming in. So friends, as you have a question, post it. I promise we're going to get to. So let's go through the inclusions here. Again, we're going at a faster speed than we did yesterday. If you want to see the full version, it's on the web page. So of course you get a seat. You're a participant. You're a part of the club in this 3-day mastermind retreat. Of course, it's a commitment of 5 days, 4 nights of travel, but it's a 3 full day event. You're not coming or leaving on one of the business days. We talked about the agenda, which would be customized and comprehensive. But I want to show you. These are what we call umbrella categories. Umbrella categories. Because Mike, you did this massive survey, and after you compiled the results, these were the 8 most popular umbrella categories. So I don't know if you want to say a couple of words on this.
Yeah, we asked the folks. I sent out a survey a while back, and hold on a second. And these are the answers that came back. We had hundreds of answers, but these were as Stuart called them, the umbrella topics. Mm-hmm. And value. How do we build more value to differentiate ourselves from the competition, but also how do we build value into our company for maybe someday it'll be saleable. Mm-hmm. Customer service is maintaining loyalty. You know, your customers are your most important property. Luxury travel, people are very interested in luxury. Social media, a lot of people come and say not familiar with social media. Lead generation, prospecting. Some people want to hire ICs and they want information on hiring practices, group selling, which is Stuart's strong point. And another big one was how do I get it all done as a small entrepreneur? And that would be time management. So these are the points. We're not tied to these points, but these are the areas that came back with our survey.
Right. Number 3, we are going to print up a whole booklet, which will be the handout. You can take your notes in there. Plus, it's going to be loaded with a lot of additional documents. If you know me and Mike, you know that we don't just give you what you bought. We give you a whole lot more. We try to really up the value. So we're going to load it up with other support documents and videos that are yours. Of course, there'll be a private Facebook group so that the conversation, communication continues that Mike and I will monitor and actively participate in. And you'll be there with the other club members, if you will. I keep using the word club.
I like that. I like it. I like that.
Yeah. We will have a pre-retreat virtual meeting to set it up. So we won't be meeting for the first time in Jamaica. We're going to do an online thing kind of like this. We'll get to know each other, get everyone go around a room, introduce themselves kind of a thing so that when we step in, we don't waste time with that. We've already done it. But now we're going to be meeting in person, physical, and we get right down to business right away. There will also be a post-retreat virtual meeting to review everything, to hold you accountable. If you had any questions, if you forgot something, and we already mentioned it doesn't end there. We're going to stack in 11 more. So it's a total of 12, right, Mike? A total of 12 additional monthly mastermind online meetings. And Kyle and some of you and Sam, you're in my boot camp. It's like what we do for the Power Hour kind of a thing. So we'll do some training, but most importantly, it's a meeting. It's a real continuation think tank of our mastermind meeting.
And it's for accountability, but also, and you might not want to come every month, but when you do have a snag, when you do have a problem, when you do have an issue, you might want to air it to the group and get input again so you can move forward. So it's an opportunity monthly. Yeah. We're not just going to leave you after a data dump in Jamaica.
Yeah. Once again, 5 days, 4 nights, private accommodations. And if you have not been to Moon Palace, Jamaica, you're going to love it. It is all inclusive. So all the booze, all the great food, it's included. So you shouldn't have to be reaching in your pocket at all unless Mike or me pass around the hat for tips.
Well, there you go.
We're also going to give you a free airport transfer voucher. So basically, the only thing not included in this is airfare, really, I think. And there'll be more bonuses. Can't confirm them right now, but there's more coming. We're working on with some people down in Jamaica and some other stuff we want to do. Here's a review of everything that we built in. We tried to make it. And if you've been in my boot camp, you know this. Mike, you and I talk about this all the time. Just value it up. I mean, that's what luxury is, isn't it? Where you're not going to be disappointed, not going to miss anything. So you're not going to be saying, "Oh man, I should have, would have, could have." No, it's all sort of built in already. Most masterminds start at $3,000. We did some research. They start at $3,000, and you know where we would rather. We don't want the money to be a barrier to your participation. So I think based on feedback, right, Mike, we've priced it right because it includes accommodations.
Based on yesterday's, with what we're giving the folks and the year long, everybody was delighted. So this price was confirmed in spades yesterday, which made us feel better. We thought it was the right number. And yesterday's meeting confirmed it as far as I'm concerned. I have absolutely no problem with putting that on the screen.
Yep. Okay, Kyle, and everybody, if you haven't been to the website yet, I created a special page, stuartlocone.com/more, M-O-R-E. Those are the questions. Don't copy them off the screen. You won't have enough time. But if you joined us late, if you look on your go to webinar dashboard, wherever it is on your screen, you'll see two documents. One of them is a questionnaire. It'll open up as a PDF. One of them is a copy of every one of these slides. It's a PDF, so you can download it. If you want to see all the other videos we've done for this event, including yesterday's, just go to that particular page.
And on your drop down, folks, on the right-hand side, if it's not clear with the red PDF insignia, click on the handout arrow and it'll drop down and you'll see two red buttons. Those are the handouts Stuart's talking about.
Yeah. We're asking to receive the questionnaires back. Applications, questionnaires by Sunday. So you have time to give it thought. We know it's a work week.
Sunday night.
By Sunday night. By Sunday night. Yep. And our mission is to get to work to review them all and notify everybody by Thursday the 19th. So at least you know. But we need time to go through it and make sure it's the right mix.
And the only reason we're doing this is to select the right 20 people so everybody will benefit from the time spent with everybody else. There's nothing, no personal axes to grind. We're not looking down our noses. If there's enough interest, we'll do it again. But we have to select the homogeneous group that really make this zing going out of the blocks. That's what we're the selection process.
Yep. Okay, here we go. We're going to Q&A now, friends. Now we've got 13 minutes left. We're gonna end right at the top unless we have to end early. But we're here for you right now. We got some interesting questions. So Marty had asked, hey, Mike and Stuart, what are your thoughts on potentially competitive organizations or businesses sharing the same room?
You mean the same meeting room?
Yeah. I'm going to tell you something right now, Marty. I'm going to take this right now. I get hired as Mike does. We do, I mean, both of us, we just completed a tour for one company where we do multiple cities. And the only agents that go, the only owners who go are the people local. They live in the same town, they're neighbors. Yeah, some drive a few hours in. And you know what? They come, they share, they shake hands. Friends, Marty, listen, everybody. There is so much business out there. There is so much more business than this agency distribution system can handle. That's why suppliers go direct. So I don't believe it's competitive. I wouldn't want you to come feeling competitive. If you're not coming, open, absolutely open, willing to share the ingredients of your best cake or how you make your meatloaf. If you're not willing to share the little itty bitty tips, I don't think we need you there because this has to be open because we don't want it to be competitive. We want it to be motivational and stimulating, but I don't think there's a need for that to worry about that. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Mike? No, I never thought I ever had a competitor. I mean, it's me against the world, and that's the way it goes. And if you want to do the same thing, that's your business. I think the Grateful Dead were brilliant back in the early days. everybody would have a concert and they'd say, okay, turn off your cameras, turn off your audio equipment. There's no recording, there's no pictures, just listen to the music, and that's the way it goes. And you hear it to this day. Grateful Dead said, bring your cameras, record the music, send it out to all your friends, copy it, steal it, get it out there. And I thought that was brilliant because people who are crooks are crooks. They're going to be with or without your consent. I say, run your game the way you want to run your game. Don't worry about the competitors and play hard. And no, I say come. I say absolutely come.
Yep.
Because chances are your competitors they might take notes. They won't do it anyway because they're not as squared away as you are.
There you go. It's about square. Get the screws to them.
Hitting them on the screws. Hitting them on the screws. Get that right.
I don't play golf. That's the problem.
Go ahead.
I don't get it. Should we fly into Ocho Rios or Montego Bay? I don't even think there's an airport in Ocho Rios, but I could be wrong. I think there's one in Kingston, but we're talking Montego Bay. I think is going to be your best bet because that's where we have the transfer vouchers from. Doesn't mean we couldn't get a transfer potentially if you come into Kingston, and I could be wrong. I don't think there's an airport in Ocho. I could be wrong. I've never flown in any place other than Montego Bay. Kyle said, would you consider an agreement that what is discussed and shared is for those who come to the mastermind in confidentiality? Would you consider an agreement that what is discussed and shared in this mastermind is confidential? Everybody signs. Well, first of all, my initial response is I hope none of you are going to go publish this on the internet and share it and give it out free to all your friends who weren't there. But you're not going to do that.
He's not worried about our information. He's worried about his information. He doesn't want his information to hit the road.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go on record to say no. There'll be no agreement like that, and I'm going to tell you why. 2 + 2 = 4. I don't know where I ever learned that from, but I know it to be a fact, and I'm going to repeat it till the day I die. I don't know where the information has got into this head. I don't know how it got in, but it's going to get out some way. So for you to tell me, Mike, you can't tell anybody anything you learned in the year 2017, it doesn't work that way. So I say this in all due respect. If you need a letter of confidentiality, no, I say no, and it's not for you. Because you never know. There's no such thing as a secret today. If I know it, it's going out.
Yeah.
Not on purpose, but it'll go out. You can't keep things secret today. You can't do it.
Yeah, and to that end, one more thing, we're hoping that by sort of vetting and sorting through the questionnaires we're getting, that if somebody is there willing to share their own secret ingredients, their own secret sauce, that they will respect somebody else's secret sauce, and that it stays. What's talked about in Jamaica stays in Jamaica. And I would hope that we don't have any bad apples out there that are going to take your great idea and say, hey, here's what such and such is doing out there. So I hope that answers your question adequately, that we're not going to get into legal issues and all this kind of stuff, that we got stand-up people coming to this gig that are not going to.
We can't police that. We can't police that. And it's not going to happen, but we can't police that.
Yeah. Michelle says, about to jump out of my skin with excitement at the prospect of this idea. I can't even tell you. I love that it's going to be hands-on, interactive, sitting face-to-face with people who are already having some of my struggles resolved, who can help me find a path to solution for myself. Then some things I may have figured out that I can help others, then sitting in and learning from the two of you. I can't tell you how pumped I am about this. Thank you, Michelle. Very kind words. Thank you.
Michelle, go tell all your friends so you can get 5 seats. Hurry up.
There you go. Kyle's adds, I think, hang on, everybody, because we've got 7 minutes left. If you can stick around for 7, then it's going to end cold. But we still have I see some good questions and comments coming up. Kyle said, I think direct mail is very good for the luxury market. I also like the topic of hiring assistants to do the work tasks to free me up for better time management. Couldn't agree with you more. I am all about direct mail. In fact, look what I just did. I know we don't have time for this, but I spent a couple of bucks on these beautiful, just like note cards. Look, beautiful signature there that I'm mailing out to people because I love handwriting notes. And you want to talk luxury, that's how you're a luxury person. You're upscale. You're upper class. So couldn't agree with you more. All in this crazy business. Diane said, oh, no airport, no show. No, but let me tell you something, friends. The first thing you say is, oh my gosh, it's a 90-minute drive to get from Montego Bay to Ocho Rios. It's also a beautiful, spectacular drive. So I challenge you, leave your phone off, look out the window, look out the left side of the car, because it's a beautiful, gorgeous drive.
And it's free.
Right. Michelle said there is an airport in Ocho, but it's typically a better value into MBJ or Kingston. I didn't know there was an airport in Ocho. There you go. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. Let's see, Michelle, I don't think you can keep that, what you learned, a secret. I mean, aren't we learning what we can make our industry better, indeed. So I think we've talked about that. And we got some other comments coming in here. Diane said, airports, hang on. But Michelle said, leave your phone off and look out the window. It's priceless. And this is the last, Diane said, that is what I said, right, which is leave the phone off and enjoy the journey. All right, so here we go, friends. We've got 5 minutes left. It's either going to end in 2 minutes or we'll keep taking your questions. Stick around, class not dismissed yet. This is a last call for questions or comments about what we just presented. And what do you think? Is anybody on the line right now convinced? Yes, I'm going to do it. If you haven't already sent your questionnaire in,
let me quote Mel Robbins, a book, a beautiful author, Mel Robbins. Some of you might have seen her. If you haven't, check her on the TED Talks. Mel Robbins. She wrote the 5-second rule.
Okay.
And her theory on the 5-second rule is that if you get an idea and if you want to do something, if you don't act quickly within 5 seconds in that direction, this is Mel Robbins talking. If you don't respond quickly in that direction within 5 seconds or very quickly, chances are it's not going to happen. Okay, because life gets in the way. So I'm just cautioning you that if you have an interest in joining us, that questionnaire is step number 1. And if you put it off, chances are you won't get to it by Sunday night. So if you're interested, I urge you, sit down, hit the link, answer the questions, get it into us. Then the ball will be in our court and we'll be moving forward. But don't procrastinate, because that's one of the biggest problems that any entrepreneur has, is putting off the inevitable, to tomorrow or next week or next month. And that's what gets us into trouble. So procrastination is a 4-letter word. If you have an interest, fill out the questionnaire, toss it at us, and then we'll carry it from there.
Yep. Okay, last couple of comments here. Then it's probably going to be class dismissed. I got 4 comments to read. Michelle said, thank you so much. I'm just 1 question away from sending in my paperwork to you guys. Can't wait to join you on this journey. Danny said, sent my questionnaire in. Awesome. Thank you, Danny. Vera, if we don't make the cut this year, would it be possible to have another chance for a future mastermind retreat? Our intentions, yeah, who knows? We'll see.
Hey, Vera, Stuart's just having another birth. I'm no spring chicken. I don't know how long I can last in this game. So if you're on the fence, meet me in March.
Yeah, there you go. Nancy, so last 2 comments here. I want so bad to come, but not sure I can financially commit. It's probably the first event that I feel is worth my time and money, hoping something gives soon, but I will send an application in anyway, keeping fingers crossed. We understand. Thank you for being up front. And whatever decision you make is going to be the right decision. We're always going to be here. Whether it's going to be another mastermind retreat, who knows? We're hoping this is incredibly successful and we can bring out targeted ones. Like I do boot camp, Mike is Inner Circle. We always like to do stuff that's targeted. So we believe in the niche. Mimi says, thank you both for taking this step of doing this retreat. Looking forward to it. Vera said, I'm planning to come. Hope my application will be successful. Mike, you have to stick around.
There you go. All right. I will, Vera.
All right. That's it. We're wrapping up. We got 15 seconds, and then class will be officially dismissed. And we're going to post this. If you came in late, you're going to get an automatic GoToWebinar email that says, here it is. I'm also going to put it on that page right there. You see stuartlocohen.com/more. And Michelle says, thank you. You are very welcome. I think we're going to call it, Mike. We're good?
Yeah, we're good. We're good to go. Let the weekend. Well, it doesn't start yet, Stuart. We have another 5 hours of work before the weekend starts. But everybody, enjoy the weekend. You earned it. And we hope to see and be working with you very soon.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.